Now the next topic that we are going to get started, that is Apex class. If you remember, whatever the logics we are writing over here in the anonymous window, all those are getting lost. Like if you remember, we have created some accounts, list of account, we have queried over there, we are getting something, and whatever the logic we are writing so far in the anonymous window, and all those logics are lost. But what if I want to store my logic that will be executed again and again and again? Suppose I have to perform some logic. I'm not going to write that logic every time. I want to reuse my logic, right? So in that case, I need a container that will save my code, save my logic. For that, I need the Apex class. And that's very simple. Click on File, click on New, click on Apex class. And here you have to give the Apex class name. Like here I'm giving first Apex class. Here you can give anything, but always remember it has to be a single word. You cannot give any blank spaces. That is not allowed. It will be always a single word. Apex class name will be always a single word. And conventionally, it says the first keyword has to be capital. You can make it small as well. But convention says the capital, it has to be capital. The first character of the class name has to be capital. And if you see here, I am appending multiple words together. First is a different word, Apex is a different word, class is a different word. So I am adding all these things together to create one single Apex class name. So whenever you do that, remember, like normally I can write like this, Apex class I can write, but this becomes very difficult to understand. That's why one kind of convention is also there, that is known as camel casing. Camel case means whenever two different words you are merging, like first is a different word, Apex is a different word, and you are merging this first with Apex, make this A as capital. Like here, Apex is different word, class is different word, make this C, make the initial of the next word capital. Makes the initial of the next word as capital first, then capital A, Apex, then capital C, class. Now click on OK, and you see your Apex class is created. How can you identify this is Apex class? By seeing this keyword class. As this keyword is class, that means this is an Apex class. And what is this public? This is known as access specifier. Access specifier means you can easily understand who can access it, how it is accessible. That means public. That means access specifier. So basically the thing is access specifier. If I talk about access specifier, it is of some types. We have public, private, and a global. Total 3 values are possible. Apart from this, also one value is possible, that is protected, that we generally do not use. As of now, I will discuss only about public and private. Public means any particular Apex class, if it is public, that means that is accessible from anywhere within the Salesforce cloud. Like as this particular Apex class is public, you can access this Apex class from anywhere within the Salesforce cloud, in this particular cloud. Within this cloud, you can access it from anywhere. If it is private, that means this particular Apex class is accessible from nowhere. You cannot accessible this, you cannot access this particular Apex class, though you cannot make it private. Try that and see it is working or not. See, top level type must be public or global. So you cannot make a particular class like this as private. It has to be public. Okay, so this is a simple class inside of which I can store my logic. I can save my logic. How to save it? Go to File, click on Save. Go to File, click on Save, or you can press Control S to save your class. Now here, first of all, I will declare some variables in it. Variables, let's take, I want to declare one variable. I'm writing public integer I equals to 10, and I'm writing public string str equals to India. Okay, I'm writing like this. I'm writing another variable. Let's take private integer I2 as 20. So these are total 3 variables I have declared. First variable of type integer I1 containing 10. Second variable of string str containing India. Third variable of integer I2 containing 20, where the first variables are public. That means from anywhere within the Salesforce cloud you can access. But private means this particular variable is accessible only within the Apex class. Let's take, I want to access this variable from my Apex class. How to do that? For that, you can create an instance of the class. Instance means example. Instance means example. Here, give the class name, then if, then new class name. Okay, this particular instance name, this particular instance, or also you can refer as object, like your account object, contact object. So this instance is also referred to as object. So this name is up to you. You can give anything. You can give anything over here. I am giving F. That's it. Now, by using that F, you can access it. Let's take, I'm writing system.debug f.i1. That means I am trying to access one property. This variable I1 is a property of this Apex class. Like as I have mentioned on the very first session of the development, you have account, under account you have name field. So you can conclude, you can conclude that this particular I1 is nothing but a field under field Apex class object. This I1 is a nothing but a field under the F object, and F object is of type first Apex class. So basically you can create an instance or object out of a class, and by using that object you can access your variables. Like here I'm accessing it, I1 and I2. So here I1 and I2 is our public. Open log, click on execute. Sorry, let me access str. Let me access the string. So if you do that, what I am doing, I'm just printing that particular I1 and str in the console. Check, I1 is 10, str is India. So these are the values I am accessing. So exactly where you are accessing these particular values, these values are outside of the Apex class. But as these variables are having access specifier of public, that's why you are able to access it from outside of the Apex class. This anonymous window, it is an outside environment of Apex class. If you try to access this particular, I2 of type private, right? I2 of type private. So if you're trying to access this I2 from outside of the Apex class, so this I2 is private, that means it is not accessible to outside of the Apex class. Currently you are trying to access this I2 from anonymous window, which is already an outside ecosystem of Apex class. If you do that, you will not be getting any error. See, variable not visible, line number 4, fast Apex class dot I2. That means this I2 variable at line number 4, you're trying to access I2, it is not visible. Visible means what? You are not able to access this particular variable from outside of the Apex class. Why you are not able to do so? Because it is private. So it is accessible within the Apex class only. Is it clear?
Yes. So it is clear.
It is clear.
Shall I proceed?
Sure, yes.
Okay. Now, whenever you are giving some properties, these are the properties, but you are not going to write any logic. Like if you remember in the list set map, we have seen some logics. Those logics you are not going to write directly. You have to write some methods in it, like a human can walk. So that walking procedure, like hands up, hands down, legs up, legs down, or ankle, how a human walks, that procedure is known as walking. Or if a human can sing, so how a human can sing, that procedure is singing. So here also, if this particular method can perform some process, that is known as method. How to write a method? Simple. First of all, mention the method, then the access specifier, then method name. Let's take, I'm giving method name like this. So this is a method structure. First of all, access specifier, then the method return type. What is that? I'm telling later. And this is a method name. This method name also has to be a single word. You cannot put any spaces. It has to be a single word. And this is a method return type. Like here, I'm giving system.debug method 1. You can write here system.debug method 1. Similar way, you can write here any other thing. Let's take, I'm writing here public. I'm writing here integer. That means this particular method, like here void means this method is returning nothing. This method is simply returning nothing. But if you see this method 2 that I am writing here, there the return type is integer. That means this method has to return a value of type integer or a variable of type integer. Like here, I'm returning I1. Here, either you can return any value. Let's take 25, I'm returning, that is fine. Or you can return I1. Here, I'm trying to return I1, which is of type integer. So here, as my method return type is integer, so it is permissible. You can do that. You can do that. Right? Here you can write another method, which is, let's take string method 3. Method 3. Here I'm writing str. Here I'm writing str. Now, how to call this method similarly? F dot method 1, right? F dot method 2 and F dot method 3. How I'm accessing the methods? By using this F. By using this F. Here, let me write method 4 as well. And from this method, let me return I2, which is of type integer. So these are simple methods, which is returning either string or integer. And I'm accessing this particular method 4 as well. Now, if you see, the method 1 is returning nothing. It is returning void. So that is fine. But method 2 is returning integer. So either you can execute like this, or suppose if you want, what my method 2 is returning, I want to view it. In that case, what your method 2 is returning? A variable of type integer. So you can store it in a variable. Let's take, I'm giving x, and you can print your x. System.debug x. What your method 3 is returning, it is returning of type string. So you can store it in a variable and you can print it. If you want. If you want, you can print it. Your method 3, method 4 is also returning. Method 4 is returning on integer. So I can simply print it. Here, how I am getting what my method is returning? How I am getting? By seeing the method return type, integer, string. Using that one only, I am determining like it is, where I have to store the value, either in integer or in string. And every time you create anything, you save the class. Do not forget to save the class. If you see here one asterisk marks on the top of the class, that means the class is not saved yet. Like here, no star. That means this class is saved. Like here you can see this star means class is not saved. If you press Ctrl S, this class will be saved. Now, if you do this, execute. Check. Let me open the anonymous window. Here, first of all, what you are printing, I1 and str, that is 10 and India is getting printed. Now you are calling method 1. So method 1 is coming. Now you are calling method 2. So method 2 is coming. But method 2 is returning what? Method 2 is returning I1. What is the value of I1? 10. So 10, whatever method 2 is returning, that one storing in the x variable, and x you are printing. That means what will be printed? 10 will be printed. Check, 10 is printed. Next, you are calling method 3. Method 3 is printed. Sorry, method 3 is called. So method 3 is printed over here. Now, after it is printed, what you are doing? You are returning the string str. And what this str is containing? India. So whenever you are calling method 3, you are storing India inside of s, and s you are printing. That's why here it is coming as India. Here, same method 4 you are calling. Method 4 is returning I2. So I2 you are storing inside of I, and I2 value is what? 20. So 20 you are printing. So 20 is getting printed here. Here, one thing is a little bit tricky. What is that? Here, this I2 variable was private. So I was not able to access it directly. I was not able to access it directly from here. If I drew that, I'll be getting that error. Like method is, variable is not visible. But if you see from my method 4, I am returning I2. So this I2 of type private, but I am able to return that value of I2. That means indirectly, I am not calling my I2 directly. From the outside of the Apex class, I am not going to call this I2 directly. I am calling it indirectly by means of method 4. So as I'm calling it indirectly, I'm calling method 4, and from the method 4, I'm returning I2. I do not have any direct connection with the I2. So that means I will be able to return I2. Though it is private, as I am not calling this I2 directly, method 4 will be returning the value of this I2, though it is private. Now that's it for today. Now let me know if you have any queries.
Thank you so much.
Is it clear?
Yes, it is clear for me.
Good. Murat, is it clear?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is clear.
Okay, kindly practice the tasks. Okay, kindly practice the tasks, please. And if you have any queries, please.
Okay,
reach out to me.
okay, I will.
Yes, please. Those are very important.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, okay. I guess we can wrap up.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good
Yeah.
Thank you.
night.
Yeah, bye.